Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today for Wednesday, July 16th. It's Alissa Coram here. And we saw some nice upside reversal action for the major indexes today after the markets felt at ease, I suppose, amid a little intraday drama over the fate of Fed Chair Jay Powell. And joining me now to discuss the action in today's session is my colleague, Ken Shreve. Ken, what do you have for us today?
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the stocks brought to you by the letter R today, at least in terms of their tickers. First one is RACE, RACE. That is Ferrari. Also, Rambus, RMBS, a very little known chip maker that's pretty significant in data centers itself. And then Road, ROAD. This is a company called Construction Partners, still acting well here.
All right. Well, we are really ready for those R stocks. Ken, I know you'll bring it with the analysis there. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes, starting with the NASDAQ composite reversing higher. Another R word there, reversal up 0.25% by sessions close. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 up 0.3% on the day, shaking off intraday weakness as well. The Dow up 0.5%, coming down to touch that 21-day, and small caps outperforming here, up 1%, also a reversal. And to show the intraday scare, let's go to an intraday chart here so you can definitely see when that news broke. Tell us more, Ken.
Well, yeah, it was just right after 8:15, excuse me, 8:15 a.m. Pacific time, 11:15 a.m. Eastern time, and apparently there was a senior White House official who said that President Trump was very close to firing Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. We've heard President Trump in recent weeks talk about firing Powell, but I mean the market really took a dive there. Again, it lasted for about an hour, but it was kind of back and forth. But the Nasdaq was down as much as 0.8%, just like that, at the drop of a hat. And then market was able to rally, and in a bull market, Ali, you want to see, if you see early morning weakness, it's always great to see some late afternoon strength. And this market is, we've just been talking about it on a daily basis, acting very strong, and it did it again today. Nasdaq down 0.8% intraday, touches the 10-day moving average, closes up near its high after a not so great session yesterday, and it had higher volume today too, which I think is encouraging.
Yeah, so some resiliency and respecting the uptrend, one might say. All right, let's go to the S&P 500. A bit of a shakeout below the recent action. A notable low being that 7.7 low. We undercut that intraday, and we were able to close in positive territory here as well.
Yeah, another pretty sharp intraday drop for the S&P 500. You can see that downside reversal, yesterday for the S&P 500. That resulted in a mild distribution day because you had higher volume yesterday. Volume wasn't as strong on the NYSE today as it was on the Nasdaq. It might have been just a little bit higher than what we saw yesterday, but equally encouraging performance by the S&P 500 today, and this market is getting opportunities to go down, but again, the headline this morning was very short lived because President Trump in the Oval Office quickly denied that he was close to firing Jerome Powell. So market found its footing and got a nice close near highs.
Okay, let's get your thoughts on blue chips and small caps as always, starting with the Dow here.
Yeah, no, drop for the Dow Jones Industrial Average down to its 21-day moving average. So still seeing a lot of growth stocks, holding at their 21-day line. Some starting to show a little cracks in the armor, maybe with drops below the 21-day line. But good to see the Dow respecting that support level. Of course, the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 still holding comfortably above the 21-day.
Yeah. And the Russell 2000, similar action in that it too came down to its 21-day line and a nice round number here, 2,200.
Yeah, very similar look to the Dow, but we had been talking about the Dow and the Russell 2000 lagging the market, for some time, but both of these have started to participate here. So they both fallen maybe a little further off highs than the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, but I think overall you have to call today another win for the bulls, and again just seeing maybe some small damage underneath the surface when it comes to some stocks. But again, I'll be writing the big picture column later, and there's still a lot of good to talk about in this market in terms of leading growth stocks still holding up quite well.
Yes, great call out there. Make sure to check out Ken's big picture article today. You'll be able to find it when it drops on the homepage of investors.com. All right, let's turn our attention to two ETFs of note before we move on. And let's start with the chip sector. We saw some weakness from ASML here, Ken, but it looks like the broader sector was more or less able to shake off that weakness. I know at one point during IBD Live, when we were taking a look at this chip sector ETF, it was down about 1.4%, closed down just a 0.5%.
Yeah, and I was on IBD Live with you. I actually saw it down up as low as 1.7%, and this was before the Nasdaq started selling off at around 11:15
Yeah.
a.m. Eastern time. So it was just another way that the market is showing showing underlying strength here. Chip stocks had every reason to sell off because of the news that ASML delivered. This is not the leader ASML in the chip equipment group, but they do make equipment for some of the world's most advanced chips, and what they say matters. But the chip sector as a whole performed
Mhm.
very well. You can see the bottom line and top line growth for ASML was there again, but they guided third quarter revenue a little below expectations, and then their outlook for 2026, they just cited some uncertainty about whether or not they were going to be profitable. You can see on the annual earnings estimates, profit next year expected to be up 10%. They're still trying to figure out if they're going to be able to earn close to 27.43. So you can see why the stock was down 8% on the day, but really the selling filtered into the chip sector for a little bit, but SMH really strong close and
Yes.
support at the 10-day. Yep.
Agreed. And on IBD Live this morning, Ken, you flagged Taiwan Semi due with its report tomorrow. So that'll be another test for the semiconductor sector.
Yeah, a big time test. The good thing about Taiwan Semiconductor is we do get monthly sales data from
Yeah.
them every month, and just recently, it seems like for several months in a row, they've been reporting monthly revenue up at least 30%. That was the same this time around when they reported June revenue, not recently actually. So we get a little feel for how business is at Taiwan Semiconductor. So wouldn't be surprised to see another strong report tomorrow morning. But again, a lot of these stocks have been running higher into earnings. So sometimes you can get a sell the news situation.
Right.
But we're in a pretty strong uptrend here, and it just seems to be there's still money on the sidelines wanting to come in
Mhm.
here. So we'll see what TSM has to say tomorrow. But yeah, what they say typically moves chip stocks as well.
Yep, sounds like a plan. All right, well, let's turn our attention to three stocks of note from today's session, beginning with Ferrari. The ticker here is RACE. And Ferrari cleared a cup with handle buy point today, up 3.7%. Ken, strengthened throughout the day.
Yeah, took a look at this one early in the day on IBD Live when it was trading below 500. So it was kind of revving its engines for a possible breakout try, and it just got stronger with the market after that initial sell off. So listen, breakouts have been a lot trickier lately. This is the way you want to see a breakout in an uptrend. Close near highs. It closed above that left side high of 503. 503.10. So still in a buy zone here, but what we want to see tomorrow for Ferrari is follow through, because when
Yeah.
the stock is breaking out of a base, you want to see some follow on buying, and that has been a little tougher to see lately. So we'll see if Ferrari can follow through tomorrow.
Mhm.
But good strong breakout for the stock today. Relative strength line, you can see is lagging a little bit, and that is one reason I wanted to talk about Ferrari, is just that, if you're looking at stocks that are setting up in bases right now, you are running the risk
Mhm.
of buying a stock that has a lagging RS line. And on the weekly chart here, you can see it's still far off highs, even though Ferrari is moving into new high ground here. So not a total deal breaker, but we often teach that you want to see an equally bullish, relative strength line when a stock is breaking out. And if it's lagging a little bit, it can just be a clue that the breakout could be challenged.
Great points there, Ken. And you also mentioned that round number of 500, not only that approximately the buy point for the recent handle, but that's a resistance area that goes back several times as a key level back to February of this year and even last September. So if it can punch above that level and stay above it, that seems pretty notable here.
Yeah, I think, and again, so we'll look for some follow through tomorrow. It was a good performance for the broad market today. I think the market is still
Mhm.
showing us that it's getting a bid here and acting well. So maybe we'll get some follow through in Ferrari. But in terms of the breakout day, good solid close up near highs, and you had nice volume expansion as well. And by the way, a company that has a pretty consistent record of bottom line and top line growth. The auto manufacturing group often doesn't rank that highly in our 197 industry group rankings, but Ferrari has been a very consistent performer in this group.
Let's check out Rambus in the semiconductor fabless group. So, along with NVIDIA and the likes of Broadcom, this is a member in that same industry group, up 3.5% today, Ken.
Yeah, and it's not a name that people talk about. I mean, when you're talking about data center and chips, obviously Nvidia, AMD get a lot of attention. But Rambus has a chip interface technology that is front and center in data centers. Again, involved in the speedy delivery of data through these data centers and AI training and things like this. So Rambus is right in the middle of that market. You can see growth has started to ramp up. That first quarter revenue accelerated nicely from the fourth quarter there, up 41%. Earnings accelerated as well. So, in a sweet spot here, there was initial breakout for Rambus over 63.15. Good example how if you miss that breakout, and look, it formed another handle, came down to its 21-day moving average earlier this week on Monday, and is now in the early stages of breaking out over this 66 area. So still looks actionable here. Volume picked up the pace today. Again, just the caveat here, another stock that's breaking out. Relative strength line looks a little better here than race. You can see it's kind of poking up near highs. So this one, I think the relative strength line looks a little healthier than races. But I think a alternate buy area here.
Okay. And we've got earnings coming up at the end of the month. So we'll keep
Hmm.
that in mind. And now let's round things out with a look at Road. This is Construction Partners, up 2.8% on the day. And I would say a constructive looking base.
Constructive looking pattern here for construction partners. The ticker symbol is road because they're an infrastructure. They do a lot of work on roads, highways, bridges, even some airports, and they're mostly centered in the southeastern U.S. Pretty healthy relative strength line here, just off highs. You had a breakout from a long cut base. Didn't really get going, but I like how it just kind of moved sideways, held support at the 50-day 200-day moving average. This one's very close to breaking out of a downtrend, and you can see it's forming a nice little flat base here. So the industry group is still quite strong. You can see it ranks 20th out of 197. There's broad-based leadership in this group. I think Construction Partners is a mid-cap stock worth watching here. And I like the perspective on this weekly chart. Nice strong move up off lows, and then just a little tight consolidation while holding support here. So big move in 2023 and 2024, but after a nice shakeout and pullback, looks to be
Yeah.
setting up again. And I think the industry group is still looking strong.
Yeah, well, let's see if it can build on this base. And earnings here are due, looks like roughly in the first week or so of August. So we'll
Yeah,
definitely point that out.
lots of we're just now getting into the thick of second quarter earnings season. Lots of financial reports still to come, and we've got a big
Mhm.
one tomorrow with Netflix, and it's
That's
only
right.
going to get busier. So it could be a little challenging. We'll hope that stocks don't sell the news when they're rallying so much ahead of
Mhm.
earnings. But I think the one thing we have going for us is just a really healthy uptrend here that's still showing a lot of strength.
Well said. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ken. We always appreciate getting your take. Thanks so
My
much.
pleasure. Take
And
care.
thanks everyone for tuning in. That is it from us for today, but it's Wednesday, so we have our weekly Investing with IBD podcast live at 5 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, hosted by our very own Justin Nielsen. And this week's guest is Don Vandenbord of Revere Asset Management. It's going to be a great episode talking about how to build a portfolio from scratch when you get a turn in the market like we saw in August, what to look for, how to construct that portfolio. It's going to be a very interesting discussion. So we hope to see you there. And of course, you can always check out the archive on YouTube at investors.com/videos or listen wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow.